in what was oddly dubbed the battle for Brew's heart, the Cleveland Browns drubbed the Bengals yet again 24-3. This days after Cincinnati made Joe Burrow the richest player in the NFL history. He responded with 31 passes for 82 yards. Here's Burrow and Jamar Chase. Take a listen.
Yeah, nobody's panicking in here, guys. It's week one doesn't define anybody's
you played horrible.
season. Obviously, not very good out there.
Don't act so nonchalant like you didn't just go throw 3 points on the board in your home opener.
But we've been in this spot before. We've come back stronger and had great years.
In Ohio, nonetheless.
That's what we're going to do.
I called their ass elves, and we just lost to some elves. So I'm pissed on my part. I'm pissed on that. And like I said, man, we got missed opportunities. We didn't capitalize on that, and we lost. So that's how we lost.
Okay, Coach Mangini is here, fresh from Cleveland. Nick, since he has started slow before, so is this something or nothing?
This is something for 3 reasons. The first reason is
nothing with the
second
Chiefs.
straight game.
It's definitely something.
Cincinnati's talked a lot of trash beforehand, couldn't back it up.
Oh, good take.
Burrowhead, and then you lose. They're elves, even though they've owned you, and then you get held to 3 points. So that's why it's something. Second reason, Cincinnati, the reason it's the Arrowhead Invitational and not the Paycor Field Invitational is not just because that would sound ridiculous, but also because Cincinnati never has a better record than Kansas City. They had golden opportunity here. If those are the 2 best teams in the AFC, the Chiefs stumble on Thursday, you have a chance to get a game up early, and you don't. And the last one
that's huge.
You guys know how highly I think of Joe Burrow. While the entire league was anointing Josh Allen last year, I was asking for Burrow to get the respect that I thought he had earned. That was a shocking performance.
Yeah.
Not by Burrow's standards, by anyone's standards. Last decade, throw the ball 30 times, throw for less than 100 yards. He's now on this list. Andy Dalton against the Browns. Sam Darnold, that's the I'm seeing ghosts game.
Yep.
And now this.
I'm seeing ghosts.
And so I looked, I was like, who are the great quarterbacks of the era, like Peyton, Brady, Patrick, none of those guys ever beneath 100 yards on 30-plus attempts. I mean, there it is. Rodgers is the closest, I guess, in a really terrible weather game. Mahomes, of course, is the only one who won the game. That was the password around the world game, if you remember. And then there's Burrow at 82. So for all those, and listen, I'm not going to pull a Brew and abandon the team I picked to make the playoffs weeks into the year, but it's not nothing. I'll tell you that much, Coach. It's definitely something.
Yeah, look, nobody who has $250 million is panicking.
Nobody who watches
in that
football
situation.
yesterday
I don't think
result.
it's nothing,
Nobody.
but I do think there's a lot of asterisks. So the first game
Not
of the
even a
season
diehard Browns
is always
fan.
the toughest. The Browns have consistently had the Bengals from a matchup perspective, similar to the way the Bengals own Kansas City. The Browns own the Browns.
Very true.
The Browns own Cincinnati.
The Browns own Cincinnati. And then you look at it, he didn't have much practice with the group. He's coming off an injury, and this is the first real live action. Yeah. And they don't really know how the calf is going to respond. So I'm sure that plays into it as well.
I mean, it was horrible weather. They had the perfect chance for the offensive line to show that they could run the ball well and protect him.
And I'd say the other part of it is underestimating your opponent.
While still keeping him
not just the Bengals,
immobile.
The league is underestimating
you don't have to do much, just read it. Just hand the ball off.
Better than
we'll
people assume that they are.
How much
and
of
when
an
you start
improvement
calling
we
people
have.
L's, obviously you're not taking that opponent very seriously. And there's nothing worse in sports than underestimating an opponent.
Yeah, I will say they need to stop talking or kind of disrespecting other teams. Now, I don't think it's something. Last year I did count them out after they went 0-2. I won't do that this year, all right?
You're going to wait till they're 0-3?
They're going to have to lose a lot more games before I count them out. But this, as Coach said, this was just predictable. I mean, I picked the Browns to beat them.
That was an unbelievable pick, by the way.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. That was
sarcastic.
Yeah. It was a great pick. I mean, it's upset alert. You get them right.
Upset alert. Don't be mad because you're upset alert.
Brew, great job.
Thank
you.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Not wild.
But
they have,
you said they owned them. They won 9 of their last 11 games against the Bengals. And for some reason, Joe Burrow 1-5 against the Browns. So I don't know what his deal is with Cleveland. But I think, as you said, this was good. I predicted, remember when he got hurt, I said, I think they could start 0-2 with or without Joe Burrow. Because this was a team that has their number. And then they got the Ravens next week, who's obviously a good team.
Sure.
And so even if they start 0-2, I think they'll bounce back. It's good that Burrow came back so he can work the rust off. Last year, it took him 3 weeks to get the rust off and start playing well. So if that's the case, then they should be rolling.
Opening game last year threw 4 interceptions, got sacked 7 times, fumbled twice, lost 1, then ended up going 12-2 to finish the year.
Probably
nothing.
The one thing
Maybe
I'll
they should
say
start that a
about
little
week
sooner.
1 is we never know why we're seeing what we're seeing. Meaning, like,
get a
to
home field
Coach's
advantage
point,
in the
maybe
playoffs.
Cleveland's
Probably
defense,
do,
I know there's a lot of hype around it. They got a new defensive
good
coordinator this
deal.
year. Maybe we're going to look back and be like, man, Cleveland's defense gave people hell all year. Now, if Cleveland's defense goes out and gets shredded over the next few weeks, then this looks a lot worse. Week 1's weird because we're not sure why we're seeing
Maybe
what
it's
we're
the calf, maybe it's they're not prepared.
Yeah.
It's weird. Meanwhile, in L.A., Tua went crazy.
Tua went
466 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 to Tyreek, who started his quest for 2,000 yards by getting 215.
Yeah, what a great
catches.
start to
Here's
2,000
Tyreek. After
yards.
this throw, Hobbs let the throw catch.
It's a quick
and
215
go.
to start the season.
I always feel like, nobody can, guard me. As a competitor, I mean, I feel like if you ask anybody in our room, they'll say the same thing. Can't nobody guard me or them or just I just feel like that's just a competitive mindset, I want the ball. Well, that sounds kind of like, crazy, but yeah, like I just feel like can't nobody guard me.
That's not crazy. That is just true. Most passing yards week 1 in the Super Bowl era. So, Brew, I know it's week 1. It's always like it's everything too soon. But these are the big 4 here.
Can't win the
2
Super
of these guys went to the Super Bowl. Marino went to the playoffs. 2 had 466 and 3 question marks there. Remember prediction week. I would start off with a little ramble. I said we will be staked to these predictions. You had the
We might have our
Dolphins
first flip-flop.
out of the playoffs. Are you
As
willing to
did
put
Wilds,
them in?
for the record.
Well,
As did Wilds.
Did he have the
And the
Dolphins in
Niners.
the
Yeah,
playoffs?
as did Wilds.
No, after 1 week, I am not changing my pick. Don't even try.
Wow.
I'm surprised you even put this question on there.
Well, we talked
and
about
I
it.
knew it was coming, but I was like, no, I told you right away, I'm not changing my pick. All right, I will start with this. Tyreek Hill is a cheat code. I think Coach
Yeah, he
is
is.
the most dangerous offensive weapon that's not a quarterback in the league. Like, he reminds me of Randy Moss, obviously not because of the height, but Randy Moss, you
Yeah,
can
he's
just throw it
tiny.
up
That's
there
the
and
thing.
was
He's just
gonna go
so
get it.
fast.
His speed is like, it's just ridiculous. He's always open because of his speed, and then he runs so well after the catch. Like, he is phenomenal. I mean, honestly, a lot of people are saying Tua is the leader right now for MVP. It's 1 week. It could be Tyreek.
Sure.
I mean, he was ridiculous.
If it was Tyreek, that's an insult to Tua.
No, it's not.
it wouldn't.
It's just looking at the way things went. Now, it's
He's
hard
open every
Tua,
time by like
'cause
5
there-
yards.
Apparently on this set, some people think I
Oops,
don't
yeah.
believe in Tua.
Well, you just picked and missed the playoffs.
No, you know what
That's
I
all.
just picked?
What?
Last week.
What?
Can we see it,
Uh-oh,
Dusty?
what are we-
Last week, when I look, dark horse MVP. This is not doctor.
You have a
This is
behind
not made
car
this afternoon.
and a guy
I
you
had
don't
Tua at
believe
number
it.
3.
Yeah, that's
As a
the
dark,
definition
if
of
he
someone you don't
stays
believe.
healthy,
Okay.
if he stays healthy, he's a dark horse
Can I-
MVP.
Can
But no, I'm not going
Go
back
ahead,
to
Coach.
my
No,
pick.
bro.
Yeah, I
love
mean,
the
if he
way
stays
we have
healthy,
a lot
for
of
sure.
different irons in the fire.
There's
and you can pull
nuance.
whichever one.
exactly.
Nuance to
They-
that.
they-
It's not all black and white. There's shades of gray, and I see them.
I wish that Tyreek would watch some film. He talks about how he only plays Madden. I can't imagine how good he'd be if he studied the DBs, if he did all those other elements, because he's so good now, and his vertical speed is such an issue that you've got to play off. So that when you
How
play
could you
off,
ever, like, think
now
you just don't
create
have
the
to watch
space.
film? That just doesn't make any sense.
And I had the Dolphins finishing last in the division.
She was trying to be
here's
better.
my reason. It's not because I don't think that they can win and be very effective with Tua, but I'm just not sure with his injury history and the type of injury.
Yeah,
that
and
he's
one
gonna be able to
concussion,
be
he's
there
done.
throughout the course of the season. And when you've got concussions like he's had, even though he's worked hard to try to work on falling and all those things, it's so unpredictable. As
Yeah,
a
I saw a
quarterback,
couple of
and once
drills
you
that
get
were
one,
his, like,
the likelihood of getting
he's
another
learning
one
to fall and
increases
carry his
dramatically.
weight backwards.
Listen, that's obviously
Just like
the
roll.
cloud looming over the Dolphins. But as the only person on this set who picked them to make the playoffs, and actually picked them to win the division,
can't believe he's the
I'm
only
not
one that picked them to
surprised
make
by
the
what I
playoffs.
saw. I also, because Coach is out here,
think they're an easy
would like
playoff
to
team.
do something I rarely do, which is give some flowers for a coaching move. Mike McDaniel, before the end of the half, saw the Chargers they were in 4th down, we're gonna kick a field goal, calls his own timeout with 17 seconds left. They then get the ball with 12 left. They are able to get in field goal range, make the field goal. They win the game by 2 points. But to me,
Yeah, that was the game-winning field
everyone's
goal.
gonna talk about
That
Tua,
pass
who
interference.
was
That play won
excellent,
the
and
game.
Tyreek, who was excellent. Everyone knows that Tua at games can go off. We saw him do it against Baltimore. We all know how great Tyreek is, not to lessen your point, but we're not shocked by it.
I mean,
the Chargers
college
defense
football championship, he came in the second half and won Alabama the game.
Of week 1. They have first-round picks and free agent dollars all
Even
over.
though he was throwing a Jerry Jeudy and
once
Devontae Smith
all game. They had 3 drives that didn't end in points. But
it makes sense what the Dolphins
went
out and did. They went out and got Tyreek.
8 yards of play
drafted Waddle, and now he has
16 yards of completion.
Even better weapons than he had at Alabama, which honestly a lot of college quarterbacks can't typically say they have better receivers in the NFL than they do in college.
And not a terrible call, a terrible play. And then at the end of the game, after Miami misses the extra point,
Chase and Jefferson in college.
The Chargers,
now he just has
they
Chase
need a
and
field goal just to be able to win the game. They go grounding, sack, meaningless completion, sack. If you're the Chargers trying to not be the same old Chargers, this was a horrifying week 1 because your defense looked as bad as any defense.
They've lost a lot of games.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot like
Dolphins
the Jaguars
defense looked
game.
good. What?
The
Dolphins
playoffs
defense?
No, but at the end, and the Dolphins don't have a defensive coach spending all their money on defense.
They got it.
They went up to LA and beat them in their
I
own
know,
place.
but
Man,
the head
that's
coach is not
impressive
a
enough.
defensive coach.